20 minutes into my therapy session, I had 5 complete strangers ready to drive across Israel to check if my therapist's house got hit by a missile. Turns out she was completely fine. I just forgot that Israel changed their clock. Let me tell you the most Israeli story you'll hear today, because the exact thing that caused it is happening again right now, 2 years later. Shalom. I'm Inbal from Hebrew by Inbal, a born and raised Israeli now living in the US. I developed my own methods that have helped thousands of people around the world get clarity and confidence in Hebrew easier and faster than any other method. Fun and rewarding, just like Hebrew learning should be. Today, both Israel and the US are finally aligned on winter clock time, but twice every year, there's a 1-week period where one country changes their clock and the other hasn't yet. And I learned this the hard way. Before I teach you everything you need to know about daylight saving time in Hebrew, and trust me, you'll want to know this, let me tell you how I discovered this gap exists. It was late October 2023, right after October 7. I was already on edge. We all were. Israel was getting hit with missiles regularly. The news wasn't reporting where the hits were landing. And I was thousands of miles away in the US during Israel's worst time in history. I felt helpless, anxious, completely on edge. And then came my weekly therapy session on Zoom with my therapist who is in Israel. Now, she is always on time, always. It's part of the therapeutic setting. So I log in on time. She doesn't show up. 5 minutes pass. My anxiety levels are through the roof. 10 minutes in, I'm already running through worst case scenarios. Her house got a direct hit. That's it. That has to be it. And because they don't say on the news where the missiles hit, I wouldn't know. 12 minutes into our session time, I'm on my personal Facebook account posting in Hebrew. Hey, this is the situation. I'm freaking out. Can anyone, if you're in that area in Israel, see if her house got hit? I will DM you her address. And here's the most Israeli thing that happened. 20 minutes into the session, 8 minutes after I posted on Facebook, I had 5 people, not close friends. Some are literally my Facebook friends who I never met in person, offering to get into their cars and see if she's okay and that her house did not get hit. That is Israel. And that is Israelis. I log off Zoom. I literally feel the anxiety rushing through my entire body. And I WhatsApp her because that's what we do in Israel for texting. I sent her a WhatsApp, and 55 minutes into what we're supposed to be our session, she sends me a WhatsApp back. Hey, everything is okay? Our session starts in 5 minutes. We both log on and she sees a face that was crying nonstop for 30 minutes, and we both realized Israel has switched to summer clock. The US has not switched yet. Since then, every single year around this time, we remind each other, hey, we're going into this week where you're going to switch first, I'm going to switch right after. So let's make sure we adjust the time until both countries align on the same clock, which is today. Today, both countries are aligned on winter clock, and the time differences between Israel and the US goes back to its usual. So in this video, I'm going to teach you everything you need to know about daylight saving time in Israel and how to talk about it in Hebrew with Israelis. But first, this is important. I teach daily and weekly here on YouTube and videos just like this across social media and in my emails sent to my email list community. But all of that is my way of giving you free lessons forever so you can practice, maintain, and build on everything that you learn inside my programs. Because my programs are where the real transformation happens, where you get the clarity and confidence to actually use Hebrew in your life. I have 2 signature programs, and here's what makes them different. I teach Hebrew in a way no one else does. You can take one program or both, and in any order, based on your goals. Each program is the only one you will need for that skill, with lifetime access to the program and to me as your personal teacher to give you feedback and support so you never get stuck. That changes everything. For speaking and understanding, all you need is Practically Speaking Hebrew, my conversational course. That is it. For reading and writing, both modern and biblical Hebrew, all you need is my Hebrew 1, 2, and 3. That is it. You want to speak and understand and read and write? Just take both. That is it. You don't need anything else. No more first course, then another course, paying for years, thousands of dollars, none of that. I will link both programs in the description. And if you have any questions about my programs, what program is the best fit for you, just ask me in a comment below. Or if you want to ask me privately, I will put my email in the description. So just shoot me an email. I reply very fast to all my messages, because learning a language is not about more vocabulary or just memorizing words. It's about understanding the patterns and the templates of that language. It's about understanding the context, the culture, and yes, making sure you never miss a therapy appointment. So let's dive in. Before I moved to the US, I never heard of the phrases spring forward or fall back, which I actually love because they give you an indication of the direction we're changing the clock to. That is not the case in Israel and in Hebrew, and we don't even use the phrase daylight saving time. Instead, we use the phrases winter clock and summer clock. So let's dive into the phrases winter clock and summer clock and learn all the things that they teach us about Hebrew. First, we use the same word for clock and watch. Same word. It is sha'on. 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 Clock or watch. Two in one. Summer in Hebrew is kaitz. Kayitz. Kites. And winter is choref. 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 So you would think that summer clock in Hebrew, which many times the order is reversed, would be sha'on kites, and winter clock would be sha'on choref. But formally, that is not the case. Formally, summer clock is sha'on kites. The word sha'on, clock or watch, changes from sha'on to sh'on. Sh'on when we add winter or summer to it. Sh'on kites, summer clock. Sh'on choref, winter clock. Why does that happen? Because summer clock and winter clock are a construct state, a noun-noun relationship that creates a possessive or descriptive connection between the words. It's usually a main category and a subcategory, just like apple pie in English. It's a pie of what kind? Apple. Apple pie. That would be construct state in Hebrew. And construct states in Hebrew are everywhere, which makes it an entire topic that is essential for standing on your own in Hebrew, which is why we dive deep into it inside Practically Speaking Hebrew. It has very specific rules as to when and how each of the words in a construct state change based on different patterns. But it doesn't end there. There is a big difference between classroom Hebrew and real life Hebrew. Classroom Hebrew would just teach you that when we have a construct state, in these cases, this is how each word changes. You will practice it and be like, ooh, I'm getting so good in Hebrew. I cannot wait to show my skills to my Israeli friends, family, spouse, or during my next time visiting Israel, or especially if you move there. When in reality, just like in English and in any other language, Hebrew is a living thing that evolves. And the common Israeli, just like me, who speaks very good Hebrew, doesn't always speak like a textbook or like how people spoke in Israel in the 70s, 80s, 90s. We don't always speak the formal Hebrew based on that grammar rule. And I don't mean people who distort the language, use slang, or just don't know it good enough. I'm talking about people like me, the common Israeli, that forms what I call local Israeli Hebrew, which is how you should speak if you want to sound like a local when you're speaking Hebrew to Israelis and in Israel. That is how I teach you inside my programs. What is the grammar rule? How do we actually speak? And how do you know what to use in real life? That is what makes you speak very local Hebrew, and not like you learned Hebrew in the 80s or you just memorized a grammar textbook. The good news is that when it comes to winter clock and summer clock, we do not follow this change that happens to the word clock or watch when it's a construct state paired with winter or summer. We don't change the word clock, sha'on. So summer clock in conversational spoken Hebrew is sha'on kait, identical to the word clock or watch, and winter clock is sha'on choref. Summer clock, sha'on kites, winter clock, sha'on choref. That is not necessarily the case with each construct state. Many times we do follow in conversational Hebrew the grammar rules for how each of the word changes or not based on that pattern, that specific construct state, and you master it inside my program. So let's learn the most common sentences and questions that we Israelis ask each other and speak about every year when we move the clock in summertime or in wintertime. Because I'm going to teach you complete sentences, if you are my student inside Practically Speaking Hebrew, you will be able to identify the grammar, the syntax, and just add more vocabulary to your toolbox. If you are not, this may look very advanced to you. Maybe this is your sign to join, because then you will be able to stand on your own in Hebrew, and videos like this will advance your toolbox with more vocabulary because you will have all the other skills, grammar, syntax, pronunciation, to progress in Hebrew even more. The first common question is, when is the time switch this year? In Hebrew, matai mezizim et hasha'on hashana. We are literally asking, when are we moving the clock this year? Matai mezizim et hasha'on hashana. Another question that you will come across everywhere in Israel is, so what time is it now after we switched the clock? In Hebrew, az ma hasha'a achshav. We are literally asking, so what is the time right now? Just like in English. Az ma hasha'a achshav. Did we switch to summer clock? Is our next question. In Hebrew, avarnu lisha'on kites. Formally, it should be avarnu lish'on kites, as I just taught you, but the way most Israelis and yours truly will ask it would be avarnu lisha'on kites. We are literally asking, did we move to summer clock? And we can ask, avarnu lisha'on choref. Did we switch to winter clock? And because we don't use spring forward or fall back, the very common and important question, are we switching the clock forward or backwards? Which is my biggest confusion as a born and raised Israeli. You need to figure it out because we don't use spring forward or fall back. Are we moving the clock forward or backwards? Mezizim et hasha'on kadima o achora. We are literally asking, are we moving the clock forward or backwards? Mezizim et hasha'on kadima o achora. So wherever you are, I hope this time switch went smoothly for you. And if you have a story about time switch and daylight saving time, write it in the comments. I would love to hear it. If you are ready to stand on your own in Hebrew and you're not in my programs, I will put the links in the description. For speaking and understanding, join me inside Practically Speaking Hebrew. And for reading and writing, get Hebrew 1, 2, and 3. They complete all your skills in modern and biblical Hebrew. And all my programs come with lifetime access to the program and to me as your personal teacher. I guarantee you that you will see clarity and confidence so early in the process because it just works. If you are not on my email list, I invite you to join. I will link it below as well. And if you're not subscribed to my YouTube channel, please consider doing so and hit the little bell so you'll get notified every time I post a new video. Write me your thoughts and questions in the comments. I read all of them. And if you want to message me privately, I will put my email in the description. So send me an email. I read and respond to all of them. Thank you so much. Toda rabba. for watching, and I will see you in the next video. נתראה בסרטון הבא.